Hello everyone, welcome to this Photoshop tutorial part 1. Basically today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating or using a vector object and manipulating it to where it would look like this old uh, weathered sticker on a wall. So basically you have this wall here and I'm just going to show you the end product real quick. And as you can see we have our our vector object on a wall looking sort of weathered and old, and it looks like basically an old sticker that's been on a wall for a while. So let's get started with the tutorial. And here is my here's my vector file. And basically what we're going to be doing today is, well, first off, we need to turn this vector file into a raster image. So to do that, we're going to need to go to the layers palette. We're going to right click it and choose rasterize layer, and as you can see it is now a rasterized layer. And let's change it again and give it a name. Let's call it, I don't know, Mr. Green. Okay, so now we have our layer here, or our vector file here. That's now a raster file. Now let's hit the free transform. So if you're using Apple, it's Apple T. If you're using Windows, it's Command T. So now we have it selected. And if you notice, it's kind of on a different perspective than everything else in the picture. And to give it a more real and interesting look, we're gonna need to make sure it's on the same perspective as everything else in the picture. So to do that, as we have our free transform box here, we're gonna need to go to Edit, Transform, Distort. Now we have now all you need to do is just kind of, change these little points here to make sure it's on the right perspective. Just kind of eyeball it with everything else with these lines here. Just kind of, go in here, change it a little bit, and then down here, I think that's good. Okay, just hit enter or return, and now as you can see it's on the same perspective as everything else. So the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to paint away these part of the edges here to make it look weathered and to give it an old feel. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to select a brush. You can hit B for brush, and I have the brush I need selected, but to find this brush you can go to the brush palette. I chose this brush. Is called dry brush tip. I don't recommend using the default Photoshop brushes. It's better off if you just make your own, but for the demonstration purposes I'm going to just use a default Photoshop brush. Okay, let's zoom in here. Okay, so let's just, another thing we need to do now, it's important, we need to create a layer mask here so we can paint away some of the edges. So to do that, we just go to our layers palette. As you can see, we're in, choose layer mask, and now this white dialog box pops up next to our layer thumbnail. Now it's important to note that when you're painting with a layer mask, the foreground and background colors are important, because when you're painting in the layer mask, the black will actually paint away and the white will paint back what you painted away. So right now I'm going to want to paint away the edges, so I'm going to want to have this black in the foreground. Okay, so, and to adjust the brush size, it's the left and right brackets, the right to make it bigger and the left to make it smaller. So I'm just gonna, start painting away. And this is totally arbitrary. You can paint away as much as you want or as little as you want. And to demonstrate with the different foreground, you see how the black work now. I'm going to toggle through the foreground and background with the X button on the keyboard. So now I have white in the foreground. And if I paint on the white, you can see how how my image is starting to come back, how the white is bringing back what I painted away. So I'm going to keep it on the black for now. Now I'm just going to start painting away. Don't want to paint too much away. If you look up here, you can also change the brush opacity if you want to lower it so it doesn't paint 100% away every single time, you know. Actually, I want to paint in a little bit back what I started with. Try to get rid of this part. A sticker feel. Okay, now we have it. We have our we have our weathered old sticker on a wall. I'm just going to zoom out just so you can see it better. And there we have it. We have this vector object we colored in Illustrator and brought it into Photoshop. But as you can see here, it looks like an old sticker on a wall. And with that, you know, you can play around with the brushes if you want. But that concludes my tutorial, and thank you for viewing.